ओम परतत्वे सदा लीनो रामकृष्ण समाज्ञया यो धर्म स्थापन रतो वीरेशं तं नमाम्यहम्. On the last Monday we completed reading Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga, and we are told that in the book beginning is given with the song of the Sannyasin, and that we will be taking in the last. And last Monday we read one stanza from that also to tell you the spirit of it. Now let us turn to the song and the context of this song. The name is the Song of the Sannyasin, composed at the Thousand Island Park, New York. Here it is written in July 1895, but we have found out it is 23rd July. Those who are particular about dates, they may write down. Composed on 23rd July 1895. All the lectures were 1896 lectures, you remember. Both the London lectures and New York lectures. And this was composed much earlier. And this Thousand Island Park is a place in the northmost part of United States of America, and within those lakes there are, nobody has counted, but almost thousands of islands. And a place there belonged to one of the disciples of Swami Vivekananda, and she reserved that place for a camp for a month and a half. And very chosen disciples, very chosen, went there with Swami Vivekananda. So all of them were almost sannyasis. That means they had given up their connections to attend that camp at Thousand Island. So here the context is that Swamiji is talking to very selected disciples, and whole day is to take different classes, formal, informal, and they have been taken down as notes by one of the disciples, Ida himself, who was called Haridasi, and that has been published by the Advaita Ashram within complete works and separately as inspired talks. But this was not a talk. Suddenly, Swamiji got an inspiration from within, went to his room, and there he scribbled down, wrote down this song, and then gave it to the disciples. So, Swamiji himself was in a most inspired mood, one may say. So this song is coming from the meaning of all that is, this song is coming from a very high state of Swamiji's mind. And so, see the exclamations now. And it is called Song of the Sannyasin. So straight away, it is described here, the model or the ideal of a student of Vedanta. Though Swamiji has said it should be open to all, and he has described it in such a manner that everybody can benefit from it, but in Swamiji's mind, the real benefit will accrue to one who has given up this world for the sake of God. For the sake of realizing his own nature, he has cut away all the bonds of this world. That is called a sannyasin. You know, the sannyasis, before taking up this renunciation or sannyasa, they have to undergo a ceremony, 2-3 important ceremonies. One is that in India we believe in propitiating the forefathers, and that is called Shraddha. So afterwards they cannot do any Shraddha, they are not entitled for any Vedic karma, so they do Shraddha for their forefathers who have passed away, and even for the parents and the other forefathers who are still living, they do a Shraddha where the offerings are to be reserved with the Lord of Shraddha, the Gaya Vishnu. And it is supposed that the Gaya Vishnu will give that when the need comes. And most important is that nobody is going, because they are not going to marry, they are not going to have children. So nobody is going to do Shraddha for them, for the body. So they do Shraddha for themselves also. That is the most important part of that ceremony. And then shaving the head and all that is all right. Then they undergo one homa called Viraja Homa. That means I renounce everything of this world, of heaven, of all lokas, and I will be not a hindrance in anybody's selfishness of the world. With that declaration, he has to offer oblations to the fire. After that, the Guru gives him a new name. He is dead in the old form now, at the point of Shraddha itself. Jocularly we used to call each other as ghosts at that time. You have no existence bodily now. And the Guru gives him a new name, representing his sannyasahood. Now this is a sannyasi. And then the Guru teaches him Vedanta, that is the tradition. Swamiji has made this Vedanta available for every citizen of the world. And yet, the sannyasins are pre-qualified for that. So it is from this high pedestal that this song is coming. Song of the sannyasin means the song of one who has given up everything for realizing his own real nature. And let me tell you a funny story in this regard. We say given up, and people wonder how he can give up. Does he not feel this or that? Temptation, duty, responsibility. So in that respect, I will tell you an anecdote. Sri Ramakrishna's mental child, Swami Brahmananda the Great, when he was sitting on his seat, a Raja, a king, came and prostrated before him. And Brahman Swamiji was the king of humor. So he smiled and said, "Why such a big prostration here?" The Raja said that, "Oh Maharaj, you are such a great renouncer." At that point, Brahman Swami says, "Oh, if you are saluted for renouncing, I should not only prostrate, I should roll down before you. You are a much more renouncer than me." The king said, "How?" Brahman Swami said, "What I have given up? That which is unreal, that which does not exist, I have given up." What is that giving up? And you have given up that which is real. So are you not a greater renouncer? In this way, he showed that this renunciation is very natural. If one understands that the world is unreal, if one understands that the subject-object relation is unreal, when he knows this, not only understands, but when he experiences this or he knows this for certain, automatic will be the so-called renunciation. So-called means he has given up that which is nothing. So this naturalness of renunciation was shown by Brahman Swamiji in that manner. So this is the sannyasi who does not feel that the world is real. Now let us see what the song tells about it. So the song is for song is by such a man. Wake up the note, the song that had its birth far off, where worldly taint could never reach. From these first two lines we find that far off means far off in the level of consciousness. Far off means where the worldly taint could not reach. That far off means beyond our normal consciousness. But the next line brings it down to earth again. In mountain caves and glades of forest deep, whose calm no sigh for lust or wealth or fame could ever dare to break. So this immediately, physically, in our mind places it in the forests of the Himalayas. Because in mountain caves, that means he does not build a house for himself. He lives where the automatic shelters are there. If there are caves in the mountain, there are the sufficient shelters provided by God Himself for that man to live. And glades of forest deep. Now deep forest will have beasts, ferocious animals around, and this man is not afraid because he has no fear of death. He knows that the body is not real. So both his consciousness is above the normal consciousness, much above, and actually the physical abode is Himalayan forest. He is not afraid. He does not worry about his food and drink. What nature will provide is enough for him. And so, this is the situation. You have to judge this situation from the mind point of view, from the consciousness point of view, not only physical. Associated we have to think. And so Swamiji says, whose calm of the caves. Man may be alone, man may have company like him, or he may be alone, and so is not disturbed by the worldly company. And glades of forest deep, he is not afraid, as I said, so calm no sigh for lust. That is the world. In the world, the first sign of a worldly life is lust. Swamiji has gone here very direct words. Lust and sigh for lust. That means when one gets it, one does it. When one does not get it, he sighs for it. This desire itself is uprooted there. Sigh of lust does not reach that mountain cave or well. Yes. Why man requires wealth? For his sustenance of the body and for doing some good work. Now the song of sannyasi, the sannyasi does not believe in doing work. His consciousness is above the level of work. And what for his sustenance of the body, what we call nature, I would say God, provides, that is enough for him. So he does, and then possessiveness is not there. This is my wealth. So the sigh for lust and wealth or fame, that is the subtle enemy of man. If a man is able to renounce lust and wealth, the next attack is fame. And we see even the so-called sannyasis die in this fame. I should get a good name, and for that he is ready to do anything. To the extent that he becomes ridiculous. You know the old story? Gatam bhindyat, patam chindyat, kuryad rasavarohanam, yena kena prakarena prasiddha purusho bhavet. You may take a clay pot and break it on the square. You may tear your clothes there. You may ride on a donkey. Somehow or other you want to be famous. People should know and your name should appear in newspaper. To such ridiculous length man goes. In practical life, during Shri Ramakrishna's days, there was one Mahimacharan Chakravarti, and Shri Ramakrishna's disciple, Swami Vivekananda. Now I will tell you some stories about him. In Shri Ramakrishna's room there was a tiger skin, and people would ask to whom it belongs. Shri Ramakrishna, for this very purpose that man is kept here. When I say it belongs to Mahima, oh, then Mahima must be a great sadhak. And when Swami Vivekananda with his friends went to his room, shining new books were there. And Swamiji asked him, have you read all this? He said, yes. And Swamiji took one of them, the pages were not cut. Then he made some pretext, had given it to friends, and they did not return. I had to purchase again, and I have not opened. Then Swamiji found each book is like that. So this fame carries a man to ridiculous lengths. But originally, this is the subtler desire attacking after the attack of lust and gold. But the Sai for them could ever dare to break that calm. That means far away from that place where rolled the stream of knowledge, stream of not water or Ganges, or even if there is a stream of water, it tells us of knowledge, truth and bliss that follows both. This is Satchidananda, you understand? Knowledge is Chaitanya, consciousness. Truth is Sat, or existence. And bliss that follows both. Where Sat and Chit are there, bliss has to be there. The highest bliss man gets by the only that I exist, that is bliss. If you try to feel I am not existent, you will feel sorry. So, where there is existence and consciousness, bliss is automatically there. And that is flowing through the rivers, either rivers or by itself. Sing high that note. High means, in Upanishads it is called Udgita. That means not only volume, full-throated, but the raised tone, the raised pitch. Because the mind is flowing high, so the pitch also is high. Sannyasi is bold. Sannyasi is always bold because he is chasing the truth and truth only. He is not afraid of giving up anything. That is the boldness. The most boldness is that he may have to give up his individual consciousness. He is ready for that. Sannyasi is bold. Say, Om Tat Sat Om. That is the main chant of this whole song. Om, let us discuss a little here. The world is nothing but manifestation of God through names and forms. And forms are ever changing. How do they appear real? They appear real because of Brahman, they appear real because of the reality at the back. But how they appear separately real? We do not feel that they are forms of Brahman. How they appear to be separately real? Only because we have given a name to that. Only when a mass of flesh comes out of the mother's womb, we call him Rajiv or Kanai or something. Sita, Gita, and I am Sita, I am Gita, I am Rajiv, I am Kanai. And people also call you by that name, and that makes you real, separately. Otherwise you are Brahman only, not only animate but inanimate. This is the table. Suppose the name was not there, then this is wood. Suppose the name was not there, this is electrons and protons. Suppose the name was not there, it is only existence with consciousness. So, this is the name. Now, all names are nothing but combination of sounds. And what sounds man can make? The beginning of sound process is A. As it comes, let it come out without giving it any shape, without touching it anywhere. That is A. And what are the other sounds? In Sanskrit, this is represented best, in no other language. Sanskrit, all the derived languages, that it touches somewhere to come out before coming out. Ta means it touches teeth before it comes out. And this touch is of 4 or 5 types. Soft touch with more air, hard touch with more air, and touch with a nasal tone. So, anywhere, any sound is nothing but a touch somewhere in some way before coming out. And each has a meaning. Ka means you should know. Ka means water. Ka means sky. Ra means fire. Now, suppose we want one sound which is a totality of all these varieties. It may appear strange, but let us follow it. It should touch every part of the sound box before it comes out. What would be the sound? Oo, rolling sound. Ka, kha, ga, all are included in rolling sound. Because it touches the whole sound box. It touches every part of the sound box before it comes out. So, oo is the totality of all the variety of sounds, representing all the variety of manifestation of forms in this world. And how the sound process is ended? When we close the lips. So the totality of the sound is included in a, oo and All objects are nothing but names and forms. Forms are ever changing. Names give them realism. All names are nothing but combination of sounds. All sounds are nothing but Om. And so, what is the meaning of Om? We will feel that the meaning of Om is the variety of the world. But the sages are telling us this Om is a great knowledge. Just now we have found that the world appears real only because of the name. So this Om tells you that the world is unreal. It is only a sound. And it appears real because of the reality at the back. And this reality at the back, reality as the basis of all the things of this world, is what we call Saguna Brahman. But if the consciousness lands there, there will be no world at all. And so to call it the base or the reality of the world also become misnomer, and that is called Nirguna Brahman. The Brahman is both Nirguna and Sagun according to our experience, state of experience. We experience it as background of the world, it is Sagun. But when the world is lost, I is lost, it is Nirguna. So Om is the nearest non-specific, non-particularized, nearest name of Nirguna and Sagun Brahman. That is Om. Om Tat Sat, Swamiji says. Tat means that in the neutral gender. Tat means that in the neutral gender, because the gender division does not exist in the reality. Neuter does not mean an inanimate object, but the break of subject and object, the break of masculine and feminine has not taken place. If there is a break, it is Maya. If there is an appearance of a break, it is Maya. So, Tat means the same Brahman. It is the name of Brahman. Sat, existence. Sat means existence, absolute, no specification there, no particularization there. So, Om Tat Sat is the nearest name of the reality. And this is the note. The Sannyasin knows only Om Tat Sat. The world is unreal, and the nearest name for the reality, actually reality is beyond name. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. So I said the nearest name, nearest unspecified name is Om, and abstract name, pronoun as we call it, is Tat, it, not he or she. And Sat, we can only say it has existence. Automatically we will see that it has consciousness and bliss, which Swamiji has already told. The rivers are of knowledge, truth and bliss that follows both. So that very thing is Om Tat Sat Om. And this is the only note which the sannyasi knows. He is concerned only with that. Rest will follow. Another funny story I will tell you about Thousand Island Park. Swamiji said on the first day that most of you are Christians. So let me start with a Christian scripture. And then he quoted Jesus by telling Jesus said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, everything else will be added unto you." Swamiji wanted to read out this, but he changed. He said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and let everything else go to hell." Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and everything else will be added unto you is Lord Jesus' sentence. Swamiji uttered half of it and said, let everything else go to hell. So that is the song of the sannyasi, and that is what boldly he is declaring. Strike off thy fetters. So any realism is a fetter, and it takes so many shapes: responsibility, duty, caste, society, hundreds of forms it takes. It is only a fetter. Strike off that fetter, bonds that bind thee down, of shining gold or darker, baser one, or the lower type of instincts are the baser ore, and shining one, golden chain, pure duties, responsibilities, family life, they are shining gold. And all the bonds have to be strike off. Love, hate, good, bad, and all that dwell from. Love is a shining bond, hate is a iron bond, good is a shining bond, bad is a worse bond, and all that dwell from. But one is never without the other, so it is a dual. So this dual prong means the group of duals you have to, these are fetters and you have to strike off. No, slave is slave, carest or whipped, not free. So slave, not of a particular man, slave of his bondages, slave of the fetters, slave of the society, slave of his surroundings. And you may be loved by all, but you are a slave. So, slave is a slave, carest or whipped, not free. For fetters, though of gold, are not less strong to bind. So binding is the same. Sometimes these golden fetters are stronger than the iron fetters. Because if you know it is bad, we give it up. And when we feel it is good, it is impossible to give up. Then off with them. Sannyasi in bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. So that is the theme of the song. Om, everything else is unreal, only reality is truth, and that is neutral gender. The break of man-woman has not occurred there, only existence. Om is repeated at the end. Om Tat Sat Om. So Om is repeated at the end to show that the world is absolutely unreal and the only reality is Brahman. Let darkness go, darkness of ignorance, darkness of wrong knowledge. The wheel of the beast that leads with blinking light to pile more gloom on gloom. So, at a distance place, the darkness, this moisture or something shines, and we think there is light there. And when we go, there is only mud or mire. And that leads us further and further into this world. But it is darkness. So the darkness which appears as light, blinking light, to pile more gloom on gloom, when you go there, it is darkness only. What is that? Equivalent to this thirst for life. Forever quench. Thirst for life means not that you are committing suicide, but the thirst for life means I want to continue in this body. That is thirst for life. I don't want to die. So the whole attachment goes to body. Forever quench. Thirst, so quench. It drags from birth to death and death to birth, the soul. Soul, your reality, apparently your I, that along with the body is born and dies, then another birth, another death. That is the continuity of samsara, and all this is ignorance, darkness appearing as some light, and never yield. He conquers all who conquers self. So Atma Sanyam, self here is the small s, this body-mind complex, psychosomatic complex as it is called, and our identification with that which produces the ego or I consciousness, and that is the will of the wish. That is the darkness appearing as light. And if this is conquered, the temptation to fall in the trap of the small self, know this. Know that everything, the whole world becomes conquered. If you conquer your I, if you do not fall in the trap of I consciousness, nothing of the world can hit you. So and so, my dependence, my responsibility, all that is ego only. All that is only I. And if you have known this and you have rejected it, then nothing can hold you. Know this and never yield, because the temptations come, and at some point again I and my appears. So never yield. Sannyasi in bold, that is the boldness of the sannyasi. Say Om Tat Sat Om, which is the theme of the song. Who sows must reap, they say, and cause must bring the sure effect. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. But whoso wears a form must wear the chain. So karma siddhanta is absolutely true for a man of ignorance. For a man of ignorance, the karma siddhanta is absolutely true. Whether good and bad, you must reap the result. Too true. But far beyond both name and form is Atman. So that is the world of names and forms. That is the unreal world. And there the karma siddhanta is very rigid. But far beyond both name and form is Atman, ever free. Your real nature is Atman, which is far beyond these names and forms, and all this karma siddhanta holds good in the world of names and forms, not beyond. Ever free, Atman is mukta by svabhav, and we have only to realize that. We have not to create any freedom. Boys and girls say, give us freedom. That is freedom of the senses. We want freedom from the senses. We want freedom from the mind. We want freedom from the I consciousness. And so, that Atman is ever free. Know thou art that. That is the Vedantic dictum of Tattvamasi. Thou, that which is felt as I, is that which appears remote, but which is Ishvara, but which is all-pervading. It pervades me also. It is only the pure consciousness, appearing remote, so that. And this appears limited in knowledge and power and everything. That is the ignorance. The reality is one. Thou art that, sannyasi in bold. This requires boldness. Say Om Tat Sat Om. They know not truth who dream such vacant dreams as father, mother, children, wife and friend. The sexless self, whose father he is, whose child, whose friend, whose foe is he, who is but one. So all these relations of the world depend upon body consciousness. And so Swamiji called them vacant dreams. Without substance, they dream. Vacant dream. Dream because they appear to be true, but they are not true. That is called dream. In the dream, what we see appears to be true. When we wake up, we find it was not true. So dream means appearance without reality. And vacant because there is no substance in that. They know not truth who dream such vacant dreams. So when they dream vacant dreams and feel them to be real, as father, mother, children, wife and friend, father, mother, children, they are body relations. Wife is the relation we come into it. Another body relation we form, then only husband and wife come. And friend may be a mental relation, but equally untrue. The sexless self, that is the important thing. Sex, self has capital S. Capital S, self means Atman. And it has no gender, it has no difference of the sex. Wherever the difference appears, it is stark Maya. Whose father is? If there is no sex, how can there be father? Whose child? Both sides. Whose friend mentally? Whose foe is he? So, that is our worldly relations. Somebody we hate, somebody we love, who is but one. So there are two sides to the reality. It is beyond all and it is all. It is transcendent and immanent. So, what you feel is that the whole world is one. So in the one, how can you differentiate friends and enemies and fathers and mothers? It is all one in different forms. The nearest expression can be friends. Swami Vivekananda used the words brothers and sisters of America. So that is only a human expression of the divine. Actually, even these relations do not stand. You are a different form, I am a different form of the same reality. That is our common relation. He who is but one, the self is all in all, none else exists. Self is all in all, that means sarvasva. None else exists, self is one without a second. There is no else or otherness in this self. Yatra nanyat shrunati, nanyat pashyati, nanyat vijanati sabhuma. And thou art that. And that is your real nature. And that is what you are. So this thou art that has come second time now, because it is very important dictum of the Vedanta. Sannyasi in bold, that is what requires boldness. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Now this theme of being one only continues. There is but one, the free, the knower's self. Not the knower self, there is a dash in between. Knower self becomes subject, object, knower. But the knower means pure knowledge. He is the only knower. We feel I know, you know, he knows. He is the only reality of the subject as well as the object. He is all and he is the knower, so he knows all. There is but one, the free. And if there is two, then the bondage will come. If there is nothing else, then the one who can bind him. The knower as self. That is our real nature. Without a name, without a form or stain. Name is what we have assumed. The only name can be Om to everybody. Om Tat Sat Om. Without a form, because body is ever changing. Or stain. Stain, adulteration, impurity can come only when there is anything other than one. If it is one throughout, where is the place of stain? In him is Maya, dreaming all this dream. Yes, the Maya Shakti is his own Shakti, and that Maya is dreaming all these dreams. So we become a individual being due to Maya, and we dream this world. This world, whole world is a dream. It appears it is not real. The subject of the relation itself is not real. It is the Maya which is dreaming, the witness. And one who knows all this, and without any change in him, is called the witness. He appears as nature, soul. So the reality appears as nature. Reality appears as the jiva. Actually, their appearances is one without a second. So everything else is Maya and vacant dreams, and so no, thou art that. So from the 3 times we have come across this thou art that. Sannyasi in bold say Om Tat Sat Om. Where seekest thou? Another point. Sadhana itself is a product of ignorance. Sadhana itself is because we do not know that that itself is our reality. We don't have to search anywhere. Where seekest thou that freedom? Friend, this world nor that can give. This world cannot give you freedom. That world means heaven cannot give you freedom. In books and temples, when books cannot give you freedom, temples cannot give you freedom, not that they are useless, but they cannot give you freedom, which comes in knowledge, which comes in change of consciousness. In books and temples, when thy search, thine own, beautiful line, beautiful line. The crux of the whole thing. Thine only is the hand that holds the rope that drags thee on. Samsara means being dragged by ropes. And all the ropes depend upon I consciousness. So it is we desire, we marry, we create relationship, and we are dragged. Not only in this world, but birth to death and death to birth. Now this is all depends upon I consciousness. And if you give that up, let go thy hold, sannyasi in bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. That is the crux of the problem. This I consciousness is called Chit Jada Granthi. That is at the root of all the problems of the world. And that is causing us being dragged here and there due to desires. And that drag goes on, life after life. But if we know this, if our consciousness is awakened, if I know that I is only an appearance, the reality is one without a second, not I and you there, then the hold is given up. The rope has no strength other than my own hold. They are not people pulling me here and there. It appears in society due to magnetic force like he pulls, she pulls, society pulls, office pulls. That is all due to I consciousness. If I consciousness is lost, there is no pull. Say peace to all. This is a part of the Virjahoma, as I told you. Peace to all. From me no danger we to aught that lives. This is a part of that mantra of the Virjahoma. In those that dwell on high, in those that lowly creep, I am the self in all. I am the self in the everybody. Whether you are in a lower place or a higher place, I am yourself. I cannot injure anybody. All life, both here and there, do I renounce. Yes, that is the Virjam now. Life here, enjoyments here, I renounce. Relations here, I renounce. And deferred payment like I go to heaven, I renounce. Any lok I do not want to go because everything is a limitation. All heavens and earths and hells, any lokas, I give up. All hopes and fears. Hope of getting some enjoyment somewhere and fear that the enjoyment will be taken away from me. So when I is not there, all that is gone. Thus cut thy bonds. So give that hold. He had said, remove the fetters. So this is the way to remove that. Thus cut thy bonds. In this way, when you know your eye is false, everything will drop down. Thus cut thy bonds, sannyasi in bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. Heed then no more how body lives or goes. Its task is done. That means sadhana consists of knowledge. And for that we have a body. And when the knowledge has done, the work of the body is done. Whether it lives or dies is nothing to me. Its task is done. Let karma float it down. So there is a momentum on the body, let the body wherever it goes by the karma. Let one put garlands on, another kick this frame. Say not. Will not be affected by any honor or dishonor. No praise or blame can be where praiser praised and blamer blamed are one. Praise or blame may be for the body, maybe for your strength, maybe for your mind, not for reality. Because their praiser praised and blamer blamed are one. Thus be thou calm. So this gives calmness, unaffectedness. This knowledge itself gives unaffectedness, calmness. Sannyasi in bold, that requires boldness, say Om Tat Sat Om. Next stanza we had read last time if you remember. Truth never comes where lust and fame and greed of gain reside. So in the first line he had said the song is far off, where they cannot reach, where the sigh of them cannot reach. So he says if lust is there, if the subject-object consciousness has concretized, and fame, the subtler portion, and greed. The order has changed because of the song, that's all. Greed is money of gain, greed of gain reside. No man who thinks of woman as his wife can ever perfect be. So this specifically told that the subject-object relation in this whole universe settles down as husband and wife. And if you think of woman as wife or the woman thinks of man as a husband, both you can take care. Can ever perfect be? So if we retain this subject-object consciousness, it is Maya, it is not self. Nor he who owns the least of things. Possessiveness, that also is wrong. This belongs to me. It does not belong to you. But this is wrong. Nor he whom anger chains. So, anger comes only when disturbed from desire. So it is no desire. Can ever pass through Maya's gates. So Maya traps them. They cannot pass through that gates who have these things. So give them up, sannyasi in bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Have thou no home, Aniketa. The great Lord Jesus has said, The foxes have holes and the birds have nests, but the Son of Man, the Son of God, has no place to rest his head upon. That is the life of a sannyasi. Sannyasi is always a parivrajak. We are ashramas and we live together because we want to do karma yoga. We are together because people find peace with us. But in our heart, we can any moment walk out. Sannyasi is described as a parivrajak, and that is what Swamiji is telling. Have thou no home? What home can hold thee, friend? My home, how can you say? Yajnavalkya, when he realized he wanted to quit, and he quit. The sky thy roof, the grass thy bed, and food what chance may bring. Well cooked or ill judge not. No food or drink can taint that noble self. That means this is important thing. Sannyasi should not be, this is pure and this is impure, and I will not receive bhiksha from a non-Brahmin and so, or this is nonsense. When the mind is pure, no food can taint. No food or drink can taint that noble self, capital S, which knows itself. Which self, which knows itself, nothing can taint him. Swami Vivekananda once came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, I have eaten today what normally people do not eat. Sri Ramakrishna said, you say so, no objection. Like rolling river free thou ever be. That is the life of a sannyasi. Sannyasi in bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. Few only know the truth, the rest will hate and laugh at thee. That is the main point now. People will not be there to your company. There will be very few, very, very, very few. Few only know the truth, the rest will hate and laugh at thee, great one, but pay no heed. They are hating or laughing you because they do not understand you. Go thou the free from place to place and help them out of darkness. That is the only work remaining with the sannyasi. To help everybody out of darkness. Maya's veil. Darkness is Maya's veil. Without the fear of pain or search for pleasure. Yes, we have to undergo so many situations in this world. For doing good to others, you may have to suffer. Or you need not search for pleasure. Go beyond them both. Do not feel them. You are the reality. Sannyasi in bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. Thus day by day till karma's power spent, release the soul forever. So the karma was there on the body and the mind, and till then one floats. It has no connection with them, but they are with him. And when they are released, when the karma, the momentum is lost, no more is birth. Nor I, nor thou, nor God, nor man, the I has all become. The all is I and bliss. I is all is I, and it is bliss. The Sarvatma Bhava comes, and I am bliss. No thou art that. So in the last para that has come again. That reality is thou. Sannyasi in bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. A brilliant expression of Swamiji's spirit of sannyasa. And we are read it after completing Jnana Yoga. We may be anywhere in our life, but this should be the goal of life. This life should be the goal of life. Whatever up to whatever we may be able to follow, but no failure but lower aim is crime. We must keep that as the goal of life. So, we have come to the end of our endeavor to study Swamiji's practical Vedanta and Jnana Yoga, completing in this song of Sannyasi, the last declaration of life. Now, I hand over the mic to Swami Shuddhidananji. He will make certain announcements. Om, Maharaj, take over.
Yes. Maharaj, my pranams to you. And dear devotees, I have a small announcement to make. At the very outset, we are all extremely grateful to Maharaj for his wonderful enlightening discourses on the series of yogas. Till now we have finished Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Next, Maharaj will be taking up Raja Yoga, and this class will commence from 18th October. So from now onwards till 18th October, we won't be having any classes. From 18th October, same time, 5:30 p.m., the classes will commence, and I request all the devotees to use the same link. The link will remain the same. So this is the announcement for the time being, and I wish all of you a good, a spiritually enlightening Durga Puja, which is coming very soon, and my best wishes to all of you. Namaste, namaste.
Om Parattatve Sada Lino Ramakrishna Samagya Yo Dharma Sthapana Rato Vire Tam Tam Namamyam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.